Fake reviews just turned a garden shed in South London into the #1 restaurant in the entire city, and it couldn't even cook food. That's how badly fake reviews broke online shopping. And here's the full story. Start with the money because the money explains everything. Back in 2021, the World Economic Forum found that on average, 4% of online reviews are fake. That sounds tiny, but that 4% was steering about $152 billion in online spending every single year. And here's why such a small number matters. Reviews drive sales. A Trustpilot study found that 89% of global e-commerce revenue is influenced by online reviews. So if you can fake the reviews, you can fake demand itself. But listen to this, because it's why fake reviews never went away. They're cheap and they work. Back in 2011, a company called Legacy Learning Systems paid $250,000 to settle with the FTC over deceptive review-style endorsements. Why? Because those endorsements had already generated more than $5 million in sales. The payoff can be 20 times what you spend. So how do you actually fake a review? This is where it gets crazier than you'd think. To make a fake review look legit, brokers wanted the verified purchase badge, which is supposed to prove the reviewer actually bought the thing. So here's the trick. They'd have you place a real order, and then, instead of shipping the product, they'd ship you an empty box, a tactic sometimes called a brushing scam. Amazon says a broker called App Sally did exactly this. Empty boxes, mailed out just to create real-looking shipping records. And there were armies of these people. Amazon said 2 brokers alone claimed more than 900,000 members willing to write fake reviews, some selling for as little as $20 each. Now, pumping up fake positives is only half of it. The other half is bearing the real negatives, a practice regulators call review gating, where you filter out the bad scores before they ever go public. And that brings us to the most brazen case in the whole story, the skincare brand Sunday Riley. According to the FTC, between roughly 2015 and 2017, the company's own employees were posting fake reviews on Sephora's website. And it wasn't a few rogue staffers. The FTC quoted an email from the CEO herself. Her instructions were, if you see a negative review, dislike it. After enough dislikes, it gets removed. This directly translates into sales. But it gets crazier. When Sephora traced reviews back to the company's IP address, they bought a VPN to hide their employees and just kept going. It only came out because a whistleblower posted about it on Reddit. Meanwhile, the platforms were getting embarrassed. In 2017, a writer named Oobah Butler wanted to test how gameable these sites really were. His restaurant was a garden shed in South London called The Shed at Dulwich. It could not serve food because it was a shed. Using nothing but fake reviews from his friends, he pushed it from the worst-ranked restaurant in London on TripAdvisor, number 18,149, all the way to #1 in the entire city by November of that year. For the food photos, he used shaving foam, dishwasher tablets, and his own bare foot standing in for a hunk of ham. Except the same tricks were being used commercially at massive scale, and eventually that forced regulators to move. For years, the FTC just did settlements. Then the penalties got bigger. Fashion Nova paid $4.2 million for hiding its lower-rated reviews. Nature's Bounty maker, The Bountiful Company, paid $600,000 for review hijacking, merging a new product's page with an older one to steal its ratings. Google and iHeartMedia paid $9.4 million over influencers, hyping a phone they'd never used. This kind of coordinated deception even has a name. AstroTurfing, fake grassroots enthusiasm, manufactured at scale across platforms like Yelp, Google Reviews, and Amazon, all designed to look organic. But the real turning point came when regulators stopped playing whack-a-mole and wrote actual rules. The FTC's rule banning fake reviews passed 5-0, announced in August 2024, and taking effect October 21st of that year, with penalties of around $51,700 per violation. The UK followed with its own ban in April 2025. And by 2023, the industry itself had started pushing back. Amazon, Google, TripAdvisor, Trustpilot, and Booking.com formed the Coalition for Trusted Reviews, a joint effort to share intelligence and set common standards for detecting fraud across platforms. For consumers trying to protect themselves in the meantime, tools like Fake Spot and Review Meta emerged to do the detective work algorithmically, scanning review patterns, flagging suspicious spikes, and grading sellers on review authenticity before you buy. Consumer Reports and the Better Business Bureau have also flagged fake review networks as a growing threat to informed purchasing decisions. And then AI changed the game again. In late 2024, the FTC went after an AI writing tool called RYTR for potentially flooding the market with fake reviews. AI-generated content that could produce thousands of convincing, unique-sounding testimonials in minutes. But in December 2025, they reversed course and threw the case out. One consumer advocate called it a green light for scammers. The concern isn't just volume anymore. It's that AI-generated reviews are getting harder to detect even for tools like FakeSpot because they don't repeat phrases or follow the patterns that traditional fake review filters were built to catch. So where does that leave us? Fake reviews took the one thing that made online shopping trustworthy, real buyers telling the truth, and turned it into something you can order for $20. Regulators are finally catching up. The industry built a coalition. Detection tools exist, but the tools just changed again, and the fight over whether you can trust those stars is still going right now, every time you check the reviews before you buy.